Hi, I'm Bart Stern, today's host for Our Ventura TV. We're joined today by Dr. William Corderio, Dean of the Smith School of Business at Cal State University, Channel Islands. Dr. Corderio, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Bart. I appreciate it.
Now, I understand that Cal State Channel Islands has just celebrated its 10th anniversary, and you're one of the founding faculty members, so congratulations on that. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen over the past decade.
My pleasure. In 2001, Dr. Richard Rush, who's the president, hired 13 faculty members, 6 within the system and 7 outside the system, and I was proud to be one of those. We opened for students in 2002, and that's why we recently celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Wow, that's amazing. And I understand there's been considerable growth. About how many students at this point?
When we started open for students in 2002, we had 700 students, and now we have approximately 5,000 students.
Wow.
And our goal is to get to eventually 15,000 students, to be the size of Cal State San Luis Obispo.
That's amazing growth in a very short span. Has the situation with the state budget or financial challenges there created any challenges with the growth of the university?
Yes, it did. At first we were on a steady growth path, and then a few years ago when the budget crisis hit in the Great Recession, money literally almost dried up.
Sure.
We had to freeze hiring. We had no layoffs, but we had to freeze hiring. We had to freeze enrollment growth.
Wow.
In the last year and a half, the situation has gotten better for the state, and therefore it's gotten better for the CSU, California State University, and therefore it's gotten better for Channel Islands. And now we're back on a growth path again. We're going to add about 500 to 600 students every year from now forward, we hope.
And then with the ultimate goal of about 15,000?
15,000, that's correct.
That's great. Now, the campus, for anyone who's visited, is beautiful.
Absolutely.
And certainly not typical for a university of only 10 years of age.
Right.
One of
the reasons it's so beautiful, frankly, is that it's a former state facility. Everybody here knows that it was the state mental hospital, closed in the mid-90s and given over to the university system in the late 90s. But it had always been maintained. And of course, we've maintained it in the last 12 years. So it's quite a beautiful facility with about 1,200 acres.
Wow, it's been amazing to watch it develop from its former use into the current. But it seems like there also have been some really advanced modern buildings built as well.
That's correct. The old hospital, as we call it, had beautiful buildings, but many of them needed to be replaced, frankly. Asbestos, lead, things like that. So we've built a beautiful brand new library, we've built a student union, we've built a science building, we've built dormitories, and in fact we've added some classroom buildings also. And in addition to that, we have rehabbed some of the older buildings to make them more modern for our students.
Wow, I've visited several times to the campus and been inside some of the older buildings, but noticed that everything inside, from furniture to technology, lighting, seems really modern. Has that been something that's been a challenge, or?
It's been a challenge to retrofit. Interestingly enough, the campus was built after the earthquake in Long Beach in the 30s. So the buildings are made of solid cement, including the ceilings, which makes it a challenge in terms of rehabilitating them. That's why we've had to build some buildings from scratch. We've tried to keep the historical look of the campus, but of course with modern technology.
Right. Well, it is a beautiful location. Now, as Dean of the Business School, I understand that you have a philosophy that might be a bit unique compared to other business schools.
Yes, I've been in the CSU, California State University system, since '88. I was 13 years at Cal State, Los Angeles. And when I got the opportunity here, a job of a lifetime, as I always call it, to start the business school from scratch.
Sure.
I was able to implement a philosophy that I actually learned from Peter Drucker. I was a student of Peter Drucker in the 80s. And Peter used to talk, when I got my PhD, that business was really a liberal art. That, of course, it dealt with the disciplines of business, accounting, finance, marketing, etc.
Right.
But when we're at business, we're really encompassing all of the parts of liberal arts, including language, the law, religion, anthropology, etc. And so we built the business degree program at the undergraduate level on what I call the 5 C's, which is critical thinking, collaboration, working with others, communication, oral and written English, conduct, which is ethics, and then, of course, competencies. We do teach all the business disciplines.
Sure.
But the main emphasis is on this broad liberal arts base for particularly someone coming right out of high school. When I talk to employers, they're frankly not that interested in a particular major of a business. In fact, one sticks in my mind. I have an employer that said to me, he only asked one question. Hey, kid, do you know how to write? Because if you know how to write well, that means you're thinking, you can communicate. So the business program is unique within the CSU, and in fact, we're the only program that offers a Bachelor of Science in Business, not Business Administration.
Oh, really?
We dropped off the name administration because I felt it sounded too clerical.
Right.
And so now we offer a Bachelor of Science in Business.
Wow. So it sounds like you are, in addition to developing skills that can be studied, really trying to develop leaders.
Absolutely, absolutely.
business.
When the Northwestern just did a study of CEOs, about 1,000 of them, and they said, what are the characteristics you want of your employees to go to leadership? And the top 2 were critical thinking and communication. Way down the list were, technical finance or technical accounting. Those things are very important. But in terms of leaders, it's more like we're doing here, communicating, setting an example, thinking critically.
Sure. So I know so many businesses look for associates, leaders who get results, and how to get from ideas to actual results.
That's right. Working with people is the key to everything.
Right. Well, that's really interesting. In terms of the growth of the impact that the university has in our community, it's something that I've personally noticed. We have, in my office, there are now 4 alumni of Cal State Channel Islands.
Good for you and for us.
Yes, and thank you for your leadership. They all came from the business school. But something I've noticed is that the impact now that the school is established is that there's so many people, alumni, who are staying in the community. Have you seen or heard feedback about the impact that you're making?
Yes, I have. A lot of it is anecdotal, but of course I've been around now for 13 years.
Sure.
And I met business people like yourself and other people, and they talk about our graduates, happily the quality of our graduates. And many of our graduates start local and they want to stay local. Right. The biggest issue I hear out in the community, of course, is the price of housing for the students to be able to stay here.
Right, that's certainly a challenge. What do you see coming up in the future for either the university or for the business school?
Well, the university will continue to grow, so that means we have about 20 undergraduate majors now, and we have 6 graduate degrees. I expect us to be adding degree programs here or there as we grow. We have all the substantial ones. For the business school, we have an exciting growth opportunity where we've moved our undergraduate program the last 2 years up to Santa Barbara City College. We just started that last year, and we're going to now take that very program that's been successful and also make it online. So the students will have the opportunity wherever they are to have a degree completion. They can do 2 years at a community college, and then they can do 2 years from online with us, and they'll have a Bachelor of Science in Business from Cal State Channel Islands.
Wow, that's really interesting. Do you think that is that expected to grow beyond the 15,000 that you had talked about? Would those be students on campus in addition to those that might be?
The online would be separate from those 15,000. I expect the business school right now has about 700 business majors and about 60 economics majors. I would expect that to continue to grow like the university grows, probably 10 to 12% a year. But the online program and the Santa Barbara program are separate from that.
Wow, that's really interesting. I'm sure that'll be so helpful also for people in the community, in the region, who might have families, work, or other business, and they can still earn a degree
In fact,
online.
one of our first targets is our military, because
excellent.
our service people, of course, are often not stationed nearby, and this will allow them to complete their degree wherever they are.
Great, and we have a big connection to the military in our region.
That's correct. That's correct.
well.
We have Naval Base Ventura. I think they have about 20,000 employees.
Wow, that's really interesting. And now, the business school I know has some connections to the local business community as well in terms of interaction maybe bringing local people in, but also connecting for development. Tell us about that.
Well, we have two organizations within the Smith School, as we call it, the business school. One is the Business Advisory Council, and in fact, you're a member. You're our newest member.
Thank you.
The Business Advisory Council has, and all business schools would have these, prominent people in the local community at all levels of organizations, all types of organizations, and it's called the Business Advisory Council, so they provide advice to me, provide services to the students, internships, mentorships. We have the BAC, Business Advisory Council members, come in and speak to our students, particularly at the MBA level.
Sure.
We have a speaker series, including, in fact, our next one is this Friday, where we have Dave Power, the founder of JD Power, and we have 3 speakers come in every semester, which is excellent for the students. We have a second organization in the Smith School called the Business and Technology Partnership, a broader-based organization with wider membership than the Advisory Council. And they're there to support not only the business school, but as the name implies, technology, the sciences.
Sure.
We have a dinner in April, I think you've hosted it, in fact, where we give scholarships to students based on that dinner. So.
That's great. It seems so important to connect to the community.
Absolutely.
I remember when the university first opened that there were buildings on campus maybe that had outside businesses, like an incubator type of setup, operating on campus. Is that something that still
It is not.
exists?
It doesn't exist now because, frankly, as we grow, we've needed the space.
Sure.
So we've had to take...
That's a good problem to
That's
have.
right, it is. We've had to take over the space. We've had discussions about doing that further. We're starting a social business incubator. We have some space for that because, you know, we have it's called the California Institute of Social Business, which we've set up under with partnership with Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Prize winner.
Wow.
And we're one of the few universities that have that. And then we have a couple other institutes. We have an Institute of Global Economic Research with a prominent economist, Dr. Sunwon Song, and he is widely quoted in not only the national press, but the international press. And then we have a Small Business Institute. These 3 institutes have the same purpose of reaching out to the community and trying to as Dr. Rush says, this is your university. And so we make the connection between the community and the university.
Wow, what a great and positive impact Cal State Channel Islands is having on our region. We have about a minute of time left. Is there a way, if people in the community, Ventura County, want to support the university in any way, an easy way for them to contact?
The easy way to
university?
contact is just go to Cal State Channel Islands or CSU Channel Islands or even just Channel Islands in any kind of server, and you'll pull up our webpage right away. And that'll give you all the information about the university and, of course, how to support the university. All these organizations that I've discussed, we have our own sub-web pages for those. And, of course, we're here for the community, so we encourage that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Our guest today has been Dr. William Corderio, the Dean of the Smith School of Business at California State University, Channel Islands. Thank you so much for watching Our Ventura TV. I'm Bart Stern, your host, and we'll see you next time.